Pete MoxonMuscle, and it's been a while. It's about 10 months since I last did one of these videos. I had a long hiatus away from YouTube. Unfortunately, had a lot going on, both personally and business-wise, and it kind of didn't feel like YouTube was needed at that point for where I was. But I'm back to stay this time, and hopefully we'll be able to keep going strong, and hopefully I'll be able to help you guys out as much as possible. I was going to do a Q&A video today, however I had a bit of an accident on Friday, got to the bottom of the squat, and as I got to full depth, the bottom half of my right spinal erectors decided to spasm. Now, for you guys who don't know about my history, or potentially are new to the channel, or who don't know me personally, 4 years ago I tore 3 of my spinal erectors between my L2 and L5 playing rugby. It wasn't a full tear, it was only partial. However, it basically meant that I couldn't walk for about 6 weeks properly. It took me about 2 months to start training again. Now, there's a lot of scar tissue there. It gets very, very tight. And what I wanted to talk to you today about is not only my injury, but it's more how you can avoid getting injured yourself in the gym, but then also how you can treat your injuries. Now, what I want you to understand is that injuries aren't a definite if you train or play sports. They're not a given. However, they are very, very likely if you play long term. Now, this can be anything from strains, sprains, all the way up to dislocations, breakages, lacerations, you know, depending on what sport you play, and especially if you do power sports, you know, bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, there is always a risk that you're going to get injured, and it's not necessarily always your fault. Now, the main things that you can do to mitigate that sort of risk and to get away from the dangers of actually, you know, going into the gym knowing there's a high chance you're going to get injured, there's 3 things. First thing is lift safe, okay? Only lift what you feel is either acceptable, achievable, and obtainable. Don't lift anything. You know, if you're a new guy who's into the gym and you've been training for 6 weeks, there is no way in hell that you're going to put 200 kilos up on a deadlift. There's no way in hell, okay? You know, you've got to be reasonable yourselves, and you've got to build yourself up properly. The second thing of this is even simpler. It's rest. If you don't get enough rest, you don't give your body a chance to recover, you're going to be setting yourself up for an injury. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that training 7 days a week, 365 days a year with no rest days is what's going to cause it. What this means is prolonged, over long periods of time, neglect on things like multivitamins, glucosamine, fish oils, joint supplements, health supplements, things that are going to help you run smoothly. I kind of attribute it to how you would with a car. If you're driving a car, if you look after it if you take it for a service every 6 months, if you change its oil, if you replace the washer fluid, you know, if you check the tyre pressures, you're going to have very few issues with the car over a long period of time. If, however, you get a brand new car and you just don't take it for service ever, you never change the oil, you never do anything like that, you just literally drive it around, fuel in, drive it around, fuel in, drive it around, fuel in, for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles, what's going to happen is over time, those components are going to start to wear, and it's exactly the same with your body. You know, your body needs that rest, your body needs the ability to recover, to get stronger, to grow, and to rebuild, okay? You can't get away with not having that. And finally, the third thing is something that people don't really think about, and that is train for how you want to be and how you want to look, and also train for how your body and your genetics actually are. Now, for me, I'm 6'5". I'm going to train very differently to a guy who's 5'5", okay? And that includes things like deadlift form, it includes things like squat form, it includes things like bench press form, and any other form and any exercise, okay? How I lift a weight is going to be different to how someone who's a foot smaller than me is going to lift it, okay? But also in that same respect, this means don't constantly lift single reps, 3 reps, 5 reps, you know. Sometimes go heavier, sometimes go lighter, sometimes you want to be doing 12, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 reps. Sometimes you want to do 3 to 1, okay? Mix it up. Let your body get used to what you're doing in terms of let it get used to the workload. Not necessarily the exercises. You need exercise variation to grow and to change. But you don't want to get completely bogged down and say, I need to always come in and do 3 sets of 3 or 5 sets of 5. I don't always need to do the same thing. I can change it around and vary it up, okay? The main thing I want you guys to take away from this is that pain actually equals no gain. There's 2 types of pain in the gym. There's good pain, which is muscle soreness, which is fatigue, which is the pump you get when you're training, okay? That is a good type of pain. A bad type of pain is when you get down to the bottom of the squat and you feel a searing tear in your back, or if you're doing a bench press and your scapula's hurting constantly, or if your shoulders are always aching, or if your back's always aching, or if there's something that always seems to be there when you're training or post-training that's chronic and is prolonged over a long period of time. If you guys have got anything like that, get it checked out, because it's better to get it sorted, to have a week off, to have a week rest, and then come back stronger, than it is to do what I've done time over time, which is basically try and train through pain. You can't train through pain without getting negative connotations and negative results, okay? There's a great example of Ray Lewis, one of the greatest American footballers of all time, okay? Boom squad, who pretty much severed his tricep playing American football during a game. I can't remember which game it was, and he carried on. Don't get me wrong, won the game, absolutely outstanding performance, but caused serious damage to his arm, and it's one of those things that effectively lives with him to this day. Now, there are going to be times where you have to push through that pain. There are going to be times where you need to do more, to go further, to try and excel, to try and push yourself past what you've done before. But a general gym session, just when you're trying to get a bit fitter, for 99.9% of you guys out there, you don't need to put yourself in harm's way. You don't need to risk yourself. This is supposed to be something that you can do prolonged for life, okay? This is something that is supposed to be a lifestyle. It's supposed to be throughout your entire life. It's not something that you can just get away with, oh well, it's fine, I'll come back in 3 weeks time, because the next time it's in 5 weeks, the time after it could be life, okay? I want you guys to look after yourselves, to train hard, but train smart, okay? Just Pete Moxon, MoxonMuscle. See you next time.